Hey everyone, and welcome. Think of me as your personal coach, here to help you absolutely crush the CMA exam. And today we are tackling a really important topic: strategic analysis. Before you can even think about a budget or a plan, you've got to understand the world you're playing in. So let's just dive right in, shall we?
I love this quote because it's just so true, right? And trust me, the CMA examiners, they love it too. If you don't get this part right, every forecast, every plan, every single budget you create, well, it's basically just guesswork. It's like building a house on sand. So today, what we're going to do is build a rock-solid foundation. We'll break it down into two main parts. First, we'll look outside the company, and then we're going to pop the hood and look inside.
All right, part one, looking outside. We're talking about all those big, powerful forces that are completely out of your company's control. But here's the thing, you've got to understand them to survive, let alone succeed. So let's grab our binoculars and see what's out there on the horizon. Okay, so our first tool for looking outside is called pestle analysis. The best way to think about this is like it's the wide-angle lens on your camera. It's designed to give you that huge, big picture view of everything happening out there in the world. All those massive forces that can either push your business forward like a tailwind or stop you dead in your tracks like a headwind. So what does PESTEL actually stand for? Let's run through it real quick. P is for political, think trade policies, government stuff. E is for economic, and you'll want to star this one, it's huge for the exam. We're talking interest rates, inflation, all that good stuff. S is for social, what are the big consumer trends? What are people into? T is technological, what new inventions or automations are changing the game? E is for environmental, sustainability, climate change. These are major business pressures now. And L is for legal, new regulations, labor laws. See? It's basically a complete checklist for scanning the entire world outside your window. Okay, so if pestle was our wide-angle lens, I want you to think of Porter's 5 forces as our zoom lens. We're done looking at the whole wide world. Now we're zooming right in, focusing on your specific industry. This is your competitive playground, right? This is the arena where you're actually fighting to win, day in and day out. So this model gives us a framework for that battlefield, breaking it down into 5 key pressures. First, how easy is it for new competitors to jump in? That's the threat of new entrants. Then, how much power do your customers have to haggle you down on price? That's the bargaining power of buyers. On the flip side, what about your suppliers? Can they jack up your costs? That's the bargaining power of suppliers. Next, could a customer just use a totally different product to solve their problem? That's the threat of substitutes. And finally, how intense is the fight with the rivals you already have? That's the intensity of rivalry. You put all 5 of these together and they basically tell you how profitable or not your entire industry is likely to be. All right, we've spent enough time looking outside. We've scanned the horizon. Now it's time to turn that lens around and look in the mirror. We're shifting from the outside world to what's happening inside the company. The big questions now are, what makes us tick? What are we actually good at? Where does our real competitive advantage come from? And that's really the whole point of this internal analysis, finding your core competency. You've got to figure out what it is that your company does better than literally anyone else. We're talking about digging into every single process, from how you build your product to how you sell it, to find that one thing. It's your secret weapon, your special sauce. It has to be something that your competitors look at and just can't figure out how to copy. That, right there, is the engine of your whole strategy. Okay, time for the main event. We've looked outside, we've looked inside. Now what? How do we pull all of this information together into something that actually makes sense? Well, we use a tool I'm sure you've heard of, the classic SWOT analysis. And there's a reason it's a classic, and a reason the CMA exam absolutely loves it. It's not about just listing things, it's about connecting the dots. So here it is, the famous 2x2 grid. And it looks simple, but man, it's powerful. Let's break it down. The top row is everything internal, stuff you can control. That's your strengths, like an amazing brand, and your weaknesses, maybe like some clunky old software. The bottom row, that's everything external, stuff you can't control. This comes straight from our Pestel and Porter's work. We've got opportunities, like a new market opening up, and threats, like a competitor doing something scary. The number one rule, please remember this for the exam. Strengths and weaknesses are inside. Opportunities and threats are outside. You cannot get those mixed up. Now, listen up, because this right here is the secret to getting a top score on this kind of question. Anyone can just fill in the 4 boxes. That's easy. Where you earn the big points is by connecting them. You have to ask the right questions, like, how can we use a strength we have, something we're great at, to jump on an opportunity that's out there? Let's say your strength is a super strong brand name and the opportunity is a growing market in a new country. Boom! Your strategy is to use that brand power to launch there. See? That's how you turn a simple analysis into a real actionable plan. Okay, we've gone through a ton of stuff. Pastel, Porter, SWOT. It's a lot, I know. So let's boil it all down. If you remember only one thing from our time together today, make it this. This is your exam-winning takeaway. Here it is. It's this simple. All that external analysis we did, the pestle, the Porter SWOT forces, all of that tells you what you should do. It shows you where the opportunities are, where the threats are coming from. But your internal analysis, finding that core competency, that tells you what you can do. What are you actually capable of pulling off with the team and the tools you have right now? And that's it. That is the essence of strategy. It's finding that perfect sweet spot, that overlap between what the world is telling you should do and what you know you can do. The magic happens right there, in that intersection. Finding that spot and then going after it with everything you've got, well, that's the whole game.
So I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. A good strategist just manages threats, right? They try to avoid them. But a great strategist figures out how to turn a threat into a brand new opportunity. So think about it. Pick an industry you know. What's a big threat they're facing right now? And how could a smart company use its unique strengths to flip that threat completely on its head? Keep that strategic part of your brain working. You're doing great, keep up the hard work, and you are absolutely going to nail this.